session today. Today we're going to focus on setting up the material needed for us to begin our reading sessions at home. Today's reading session is going to focus on the age of 3 to 6 years old, but this is based on the child's learning level. Sometimes it will be 3 to 5 or 3 to 8 depending, or even 2, even 1.5. Some children can read by then. But we're going to focus on numbers, and before we begin our learning, we're going to begin with the date. It is important that we remind our children of the date. What is the date today? And then we write it. Okay. Now, when it comes to our numbers, I have this colorful chart that I've done using only markers and then a piece of paper from the rim. And then we have our numbers from 1 to 12, but we're going to focus from 1 to 10, yeah? So what happens is that here they'll be looking at the numbers. That's why they're circled different colors to bring in the attention of the child. And then they'll look at the number and recognize it, even store it in their head. Then we begin by singing out loud or counting out loud. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, all the way to number 10. After we've done this bit here, we'll move on to this section. In this section, as you can see, we have some numbers filled in and some boxes are left empty. This is done so that now we can see if the children still remember and recognize the numbers that are missing and are able to fill these numbers in. So when they're here, they will begin by counting number 1. And then the question is, oh, who can guess what's the next number after 1? If it's number 2, then they have that space to be able to write the number themselves. And here we're guiding them as well. Also, what's important during this level is to group them. If you have 3 to 6 year old, then you're better off grouping them 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. So after we filled in our chart of missing numbers, we move on to this part. Now this other one, as you can see, this page I've gotten from our Smart Tree book that focuses on numbers and other things. But today, as I said, we're focusing on numbers, and it's I Know My Numbers. Yes? Here, as you can see, the content around the numbers is really Africanized. Okay, we've done our best to Africanize it and make it relatable to children. They can recognize the bananas, so it excites them about the page. They can recognize the grasshoppers, and then it excites them, the pots, the horse, the books, the birds, the cups, the balls. Basically, we try to use relatable stuff for children. When it comes to the number, we're going to go back to counting the numbers. So we'll count 1 up to 10 as how we began. Then now we won't go to filling in the missing numbers. We're instead going to move to writing the word of a number. So number 1, who knows how to spell 1? Again, what you can do here is very simple. You pick one sheet from your ream of paper, and then you can split it into 2 or anything like that, and then give them. Or the other thing that I have is that we have these chalkboards that also help with that, but we'll get to that during the session. Basically here they write the word of the number, so they can write 1 as you're guiding them depending on the level. And then after we've written 1 up to 10, we move on to counting. So if it's number 1, we have number 1 there. We have the word 1. How many items go with number 1? And then we can either put a stick or a happy face, yeah, or a happy face or a heart. They can use whatever they want to be able to count. But as long as in today's session, when you begin your first numbers session, it's really important that they learn to recognize the numbers 1 up to 10. They learn to fill in the missing numbers, and then they learn to write the numbers, the words that describe the numbers, and also counting different items for those numbers. Other than that, thank you so much for this, and I can't wait for all the feedback regarding your first reading sessions to do with numbers. Thank you.